That was a shell-shocked Kellie Nalbandian after she was surprisingly voted out on this week's episode of Survivor 45. Kellie was on the receiving end of an epic blindside when Drew Basile and the Reba foursome decided not to vote for the obvious consensus target in Jake O'Kane and instead take out their biggest threat from the Belo side in Kellie. Kellie was absolutely stunned by the maneuver, stumbling around the tribal council set and even forgetting at first to bring her torch to Jeff Probst for the ceremonial snuffing. And just like that, a major threat to Survivor 45 was off to the jury. We spoke to Kellie the morning after her televised ouster to find out what happened after the cameras turned off. Also, what would have transpired if Jake had agreed to not play a shot in the dark? Was her amulet to blame for her exit? And does it hurt to go out before her ball and chain, Uncle Bruce? We asked Kellie all that and more, and you can now watch the full interview above or read it below. You actually looked like you were in a complete state of shock by your blindside. What do you remember about that moment? Or is it all still a huge blur? Kellie Nalbandian. I actually mostly blacked out. Obviously, I think one of the most memorable things I said was, "What the hell, guys?" And Caleb had to tell me several days later that I said that. I had no idea, no recollection of even saying that. So that will tell you how shocked I was. What about after you walked out of tribal council? Were you still reeling as you waited to do your final words interview and then went to Ponderosa? What was the night like after the cameras cut off? So after I walked out, you go into a little area and I ripped my buff off and threw it at the wall and someone was like, "You have to put that back on." I was like, "Okay, I don't want to." But I was pretty shocked for a couple minutes and then I was mostly just angry. But it's the game and I respected and I knew the second that someone kind of figured out where I was and what I was doing, that it would be a problem. So it happened a little sooner than I thought. What was it like watching it all play back on TV? It's a little jarring to watch yourself. I don't remember that whole moment very much. The thing that's burned into my memory the most is Kendra crying for me. I was like, get you an ally that will cry when you leave the game. I very honored and love her so much. That's really all I remember from that. And then obviously that I forgot my torch, not my best moment. But I don't really remember anything else. So watching it back, it's a weird part of Survivor having to sort of relive. I kind of have a couple months to be like, okay, this happened to me. I'm fine. And then you have to relive it and watch it again. It's like re-experiencing drama. I know you don't remember a lot of it, but was there anything else notable that went down at that tribal that didn't make it to air? I think we missed a lot of what was happening on the beach right before I left. Obviously, you could see that I had some concern that I would be a backup vote or a ricochet vote. And I did spend a lot of the day trying to avoid that problem by getting Jake to vote in a block with me and Emily. And unfortunately for me, Bruce losing his vote was really a nail in the coffin. I did not expect that the auction would result in something like that. And I kept Bruce around because he was voting with me and loved me so much. I don't even know why. And then when I needed him the most, he wasn't there. And so a final 10 vote becomes a final 9 vote, and that makes it, you only need 5 votes instead of 4 without Bruce. And then Jake was very clearly going to play his shot in the dark. I think people might be confused. Why did I tell him to not play it? But it's because it was very obvious that he was running around searching for idols. He was pretty erratic that day, kind of hard to get through to. And that really limited my options there, because working with financial analyst Emily Flippin, she's looking at the math. And when I maybe have 3 votes, I'm working with me, Kendra and Katura, that's not going to be able to move the needle anywhere when I don't have Jake, who wants to play a shot in the dark and Bruce doesn't have a vote.